Hi, my name is Jim Hart, and I am the Director of Arts Entrepreneurship here at Meadow School of the Arts. This little cutie pie, this blonde girl, she's my daughter, a light in my life, and I like to teach her each year a little bit about entrepreneurship. And the opportunity this year arose at the annual Easter egg hunt in our neighborhood. We have an enormous Easter egg hunt. Dozens and dozens of children show up. There are thousands of eggs spread over the course of about an acre's worth of land. And what I noticed right before they began is that all of the kids were lining up in one little corner of this taped-off area. And I asked my daughter, I said, honey, did anyone tell you that you have to line up with everybody else before you play the game? And she said, no. And I said, okay, I think I know what's happening here. I said, that group of people over there is lining up together simply because that's what everyone is doing. Now, we don't have to do that. We can do something else. Do you want to play a game? And she said, yeah. And I said, do you want to earn more eggs than anybody else here? And she said, yeah. And so she and her girlfriend lined up together, and I said, okay, here's the deal. They're behaving like sheeple. But we're not sheep, we're wolves. And the strength of the wolf is the pack. And the strength of the pack is the wolf. Okay? You're going to help each other. You're going to collaborate. And you're going to work individually simultaneously. So here's what you're going to do. This group over here, they're going to enter the egg race, and they're going to compete, and they're going to fight over eggs, and they're going to slowly make their way down the field. We're not going to do that. Instead, you can see way down the field there are tons and tons of eggs. So what I urge you girls to do is run as fast as you can away from the group, get to the end of the field. What you will probably find is that the competition is behind you, all fighting, competing over the eggs that are immediately in front of their faces. So instead, you get to the end, start cleaning up as many eggs as you possibly can, and by the time the group gets down there, and they will, because they'll clean up everything on the field, you will be standing there with all of the eggs that were at the end of the field. They did so, they cleaned up, they had great fun doing so. Artists love to play. Theater artists, they perform plays. Musicians play instruments. Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychoanalyst, said, the creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct. Acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. We have a problem in arts education today, and it is this. The vast majority of arts institutions, with some exception, are training artists in all arts technique with little to nothing in way of business skill or entrepreneurial skill. What this leads to is the starving artist stereotype. Now, many schools are beginning to address this problem more than any other time in history. According to the Society for Arts Entrepreneurship Education, there are now 97 colleges and universities addressing the topic of arts entrepreneurship. And they're doing it in a host of ways. Some are focusing on a master's degree program, some major, minors, reoccurring classes. And the field as a whole is asking, what's the best way we can offer this education? Now, arts entrepreneurship is nothing new. Artists have been entrepreneurial throughout time. But a formalized educational structure is new. Now, common thinking would say that artistic technique plus entrepreneurial technique equals working artist. But the problem with that is that a lot of educational institutions are offering traditional business training to artists. However, most artists don't really want that. And I can speak from experience. I graduated from SMU. I got my BFA in theater, then I went on to the Yale School of Drama, where I received my MFA in acting, and I entered the market $180,000 later, and what I found was not only did I not know how to thrive, but I didn't know how to survive from my creativity. And this is a problem. I didn't receive traditional business education, and I didn't want that. Artists, if they want an MBA, they'll go get an MBA, but by and large, this is not happening. So, how do we, as arts educators who have been in the market, who understand the realities, the rigors of the field, how do we entice them? How do we attract them to want to study arts entrepreneurship? It will dramatically increase their chances of success. Well, we can A, give them their good medicine, traditional structure, or B, we can appeal to their sensibilities. What are artists' sensibilities? Well, they love to play. We play a lot of games at SMU in our Arts Entrepreneurship program. There are many benefits to doing so. One, we appeal to artist sensibilities. And two, we offer a model of experiential learning. Entrepreneurship and artistry are experiential processes. You have to do it to really understand it, right? But experiential learning has another benefit. When you do something, as opposed to just hearing about it or reading about it, you come to discover your knowledge, and consequently, you come to own it. It's hugely valuable. It's a type of learning that will last a lifetime. Okay, we have to come up with a lot of ideas. Very few ideas the first time out of the gate are brilliant ideas. So let's come up with a lot of ideas in class. Hopefully you'll be passionate about at least one of the ideas and you'll want to pursue it. This is Bill Olay. He's the head of MIT's entrepreneurship program, and in his book, Disciplined Entrepreneurship, which we use in our Developing Arts Venture Plan class here at SMU, he says you should always create with the customer in mind, as opposed to creating out of what you think is really cool and what you're able to do and what you're passionate about, and then trying to find customers who dig that. Okay? If we focus on our customer first, we dramatically increase our chances of success. So we play a game. I divide students up into A and B, and I say, A, you're going to interview B. B, you're going to interview A. And they ask each other questions like, when you look to your community, what problems do you perceive? What keeps you up at night? If you could do anything to better your life, what would it be? What activities cause you to lose all track of time? What kind of car do you drive? And if you don't drive a car, why not? Is there a philosophical reason behind that? And other similar questions. So then A creates 3 original entrepreneurial concepts for B. And B does the same for A. And then at the end we say, A, do you like B's ideas? B, do you like A's ideas? And what we're finding are remarkable results. So I did an exercise with 100 students. And I had them do an interview process and come up with a series of ideas. And of the 100 students who played this game, they generated 247 original entrepreneurial concepts. Now, of these concepts, when we asked them, do you like these concepts? What we found is that 13 of the ideas were stinkers. Okay? People didn't like them. They were created for the people that said, no, I don't like it at all. There was a category of I like. What we found is that there were 111 people who said they were passionately interested in the ideas that were created out of 247. Now, why is that? Well, it's because A created those ideas specifically for B, and B created those ideas specifically for A. And so there's a higher likelihood that they're going to be into whatever it is they're creating. Now, here's the thing. There are a lot of A's out there, and there are a lot of B's out there. So if you as a creative person choose to market to a large percentage of the A's, you dramatically increase your chances of making a living from that idea. 95% of these ideas were at least liked, and 44% were passionately liked, which I consider successful and very interesting. Now, we want to reduce our risk in the process of entrepreneurship. We want to get direct market feedback, primary market research, so we can reduce our risk and increase the potential of viability for our concepts. So I introduced a game called Speed Dating Market Feedback. We have a line of A, we have a line of B, each student faces another, and in the course of 3 minutes, A pitches their idea to B, B listens and gives feedback, and then they switch. B does the same for A, and then at the total of 6 minutes, I say, okay, time. Now everyone on row A move down 1 seat, the person at the end moves down to this end. Now everyone is seated in front of someone new, and the process begins again. So in the course of about an hour, these students can gain 9 to 10 points of market feedback, where they can either take that information and scrap it, or they can adapt and adjust their ideas. They may receive input that they hadn't thought of, and they can constantly adjust their ideas to increase the potential for its viability. Kyle MacDonald, a Canadian, he took a red paperclip and consistently traded up in value. He went from a red paperclip, and in less than 20 trades, he ended up with a house. And I thought, that is remarkable entrepreneurial ability. He took essentially a worthless object, a red paperclip, and he manifested tremendous value, a house. So I thought, okay, now I'm going to take this idea into my classroom. So I divide students up into groups of 2 into a pair, and I give them a marble. And I say, you have 3 weeks to attempt to trade up as much value as you can possibly trade. And at the end of 3 weeks, we'll assess who's traded the most, and then we'll donate all of that to a nonprofit of your choice. Well, meet Sam Langford and Tala Duwaji. This remarkable student couple in the Arts Entrepreneurship Program went from a marble and in 3 weeks amassed $5,400 cash. How did they do that? Well, I gave them a tip. I said, here's the secret. It has nothing to do with the marble, okay? Until you amass a significant amount of value, which they did, they ended up with Land Rover wheels at some point in time. But I said, until you amass considerable value, it's all about the story you tell and you. That's what people are supporting, you and your story. The class as a whole raised $5,645, together with the cash assets totaling of about $6,000, which we donated to an area nonprofit. Artists love to play games. It's a great way to introduce them to arts entrepreneurship. It appeals to their artistic sensibilities. It offers a means of experiential learning. Now, where might we as a field, 97 colleges and universities, where might we be heading in this new field of arts entrepreneurship? Well, I like to believe that more artists will be working. Why will more artists be working? Because they will be creating the work themselves. And I tell our artists, you want to always be working? Create the work yourself. Work begets more work. The more you work, the more you work. But also, I believe that artists and entrepreneurs together, they have the capability of manifesting vision, bringing sparks and electricity of the mind, essentially nothing, like the paperclip, and creating something that exists in time and space, something of value. Whether it's intrinsic value, I get something incredibly emotionally appealing to me from this work of art, or an extrinsic value. I see the monetary worth of it. Both have the ability to create something that is of value to others. Both have the potential to contribute to our economy in profound ways. And both contribute to culture and build culture. And that is what stands the test of time. When we look back upon this culture, chances are, as we have done throughout history, we will look at the art that is created. And those arts entrepreneurs, they're able to create more art because they're able to make a living from their art instead of waiting tables in a survival job, merely surviving. Thank you very much.